No wonder there are snares all around you, and sudden terror overwhelms you, or darkness so that you can't see, and a flood of water that covers you up. Isn't God in the heights of heaven, looking down even on the highest stars? Yet you say, what does God know? Can he see through thick darkness to judge? The clouds veil him off, so that he can't see. He just wanders around in heaven. Are you going to keep the old way, the one the wicked have trodden, the one snatched away before their time, whose foundations a flood swept away? They say to God, leave us alone. What can Shaddai do to us? Yet he himself had filled their homes with good things. But the advice of the wicked is far, far away from me. The righteous saw this and rejoiced. The innocent laughed them to scorn. Indeed, our substance has not been cut off, but the fire has consumed their wealth. Learn to be at peace with God. In this way, good will come back to you. Please receive instruction from his mouth and take his words to heart. If you return to Shaddai, you will be built up. If you drive wickedness far from your tents, if you lay your treasures down in the dust and the gold of Ophir among the rocks of the valleys, and let Shaddai be your treasure and your sparkling silver, then Shaddai will be your delight. And you will lift up your face to God, and you will entreat him, and he will hear you. And you will pay what you vowed. What you decided to do will succeed, and the light will shine on your path. When someone is brought down, you will say, it was pride because God saves the humble. He delivers even the unclean. See if your hands are clean. You will be delivered. Then Iov answered, today too my complaint is bitter. My hand is weighed down because of my groaning. I wish I knew where I could find him, that I would go to where he is. I would stay close. I would state my case before him and fill my mouth with arguments. I would know his answering words and grasp what he would tell me. Would he browbeat me with his great power? No, he would pay attention to me. There an upright person could reason with him. Thus I might be forever acquitted by my judge. If I head east, he isn't there. If I head west, I don't detect him. If I turn north, I don't spot him. In the south, he is veiled, and I don't see him. Yet he knows the way I take. When he has tested me, I will come out like gold. My feet have stayed in his footsteps. I keep to his way without turning aside. I don't withdraw from his lips' command. I treasure his words more than my daily food. But he has no equal. So who can change him? What he desires, he does. He will accomplish what is decreed for me. And he has many plans like this. This is why I'm terrified of him. The more I think about it, the more afraid I am. God has undermined my courage. Shaddai frightens me. Yet I am not cut off from the darkness. He has protected me from the deepest gloom. Why are times not kept by Shaddai? Why do those who know him not see his days? There are those who move boundary markers. They carry off flocks and pasture them. They drive away the orphan's donkey as collateral, and they seize a widow's ox. They push the needy out of the way. The poor of the land are forced into hiding. Like wild donkeys in the wilderness, they have to go out and scavenge food, hoping that the desert will provide food for their children. They must reap in the fields that are not their own and gather late grapes in the vineyard of the wicked. They pass the night without clothing, naked, uncovered in the cold, wet with mountain rain, and hugging the rock for lack of shelter. There are those who pluck orphans from the breast, and those who take the clothes off of the poor in pledge, so that they go about stripped, unclothed. They go hungry as they carry sheaves of grain. Between these men's rows of olives, they make olive oil. They make oil, treading their wine presses. They suffer thirst. Men are groaning in the city. The mortally wounded are crying for help, yet God finds nothing amiss. There are those who rebel against the light. They don't know its ways or stay in its path. The murderer rises with the light. to kill the poor and needy, while at night he is like a thief. The eye of the adulterer too waits for twilight. He thinks, no eye will see me, but to be sure he covers his face. When it's dark, they break into houses. In the daytime, they stay out of sight. None of them know the light. For all of them, deep darkness is like morning. The terrors of the deep darkness are familiar to them. May they be scum on the surface of the water. May their share of the land be cursed. May no one turn on the way of their vineyards. May drought and heat steal away their snow water and shoal those who have sinned. May the womb forget them. May worms find them sweet. May they no longer be remembered. Thus may iniquity be snapped like a stick. They devour childless women and give no help to the widows. Yet God keeps pulling the mighty along. They get up, even when not trusting their own lives. However, even if God lets them rest in safety, his eyes are on their ways. They are exalted for a little while, and then they are gone, brought low, gathered in all like others, shriveled up like ears of grain. And even if it isn't so now, so no one can prove me a liar and show me that my words are worthless. Bildad and Shuki said, dominion and fear belong to him. He makes peace in his high places. Can his armories be numbered? On whom does his light not shine? How then can humans be righteous with God? How can those born of women be clean? Why, before him even the moon lacks brightness, and the stars themselves are not pure. How much less a human who is merely a maggot, a mortal, who is only a worm? Then Iov replied, what great help you bring to the powerless! What deliverance to the arm without strength! Such wonderful advice for a man lacking wisdom. So much common sense you've expressed. Who helped you to say these words? Whose spirit is it coming forth from you? The ghosts of the dead tremble beneath the water with its creatures. Sheol is naked before him. Abaddon lies uncovered. He stretches the north over chaos and suspends the earth on nothing. He binds up the water in his thick clouds, yet no cloud is torn apart by it. He shuts off the view of his throne by spreading his cloud across it. He fixed a circle on the surface of the water, defining the boundaries between light and dark. The pillars of heaven tremble aghast at his rebuke. He stirs up the sea with his power, and by his skill he strikes down Rava. With his spirit he spreads the heavens. His hand pierces the fleeting serpent. And these are but fringes of his ways. How faint the echo we hear of him. But who is able to grasp the meaning of his thundering power? Iov continued his speech. I swear by the living God who is denying me justice, and by Shaddai, who deals with me so bitterly, that as long as my life remains in me and God's breath is in my nostrils, my lips will not speak unrighteousness, or my tongue utter deceit. Far be it from me to say you are right. I will keep my integrity till the day I die. I hold to my righteousness. I won't let it go. My heart will not shame me as long as I live. May my enemy melt the doom of the wicked, my foe the fate of the unrighteous. For what hope does the godless have from his gain when God takes away his life? Will God hear his cry when trouble comes upon him? Will he take delight in Shaddai and always call on God? I am teaching you how God uses his power, not hiding what Shaddai is doing. Look, you all can see for yourselves. So why are you talking such empty nonsense? This is God's reward for the wicked man. The heritage oppressors receive from Shaddai. If his sons become many, they go to the sword, and if his children never have enough to eat, those of his who remain are buried by plague, and their widows do not weep. Even if he piles up silver like dust and stores away clothing in mounds like clay, he may collect it, but the just will wear it, and the upright divide up the silver. He builds the houses weak as a spider's web, as flimsy as a watchman's shack. He may lie down rich, but his wealth yields nothing. When he opens his eyes, it isn't there. Terrors overtake him like a flood. At night, a whirlwind steals him away. The east wind carries him off, and he's gone. It sweeps him far from his place. Yes, it hurls itself at him, sparing nothing. He does all he can to flee from its power. People clap their hands at him in derision and hiss him out of his home.